Chapter 6: The Declaration of Independence. In May 1776, the Continental Congress met in Philadelphia. This time, the delegates came as rebels against the British government. Rebel means to fight against someone you think has an unfair control over you. There were 56 delegates from the colonies. They wanted to be independent from Britain. The delegates decided to put this idea in a Declaration of Independence. They chose Thomas Jefferson from Virginia to write it. They asked 4 other men to help. Among them were John Adams of Massachusetts and Ben Franklin of Pennsylvania. These men are often called the fathers of our country. It took Thomas Jefferson 17 days to write the Declaration. Each day, he got up and played his violin. Then, he put his portable desk on a table and began to write. The words he wrote would inspire people all over the world, and they continue to inspire us today. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence on this portable desk. Ideas in the Declaration. In the first section of the Declaration, Jefferson wrote that all men were equal. They had the right to life, they had the right of liberty, and the right to seek happiness. Second, Jefferson wrote that people should be able to choose how they want to be governed. He said that government should protect the people and respect their rights. Rights such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Declaration of Independence said that all men are created equal. The Declaration also said that if the people decided their government was not protecting them, they had the right to change it. Finally, Jefferson listed all the wrongs the British had done to the colonists. He wanted everyone to know how Britain had treated the colonists. Not fair. The Declaration did not free slaves. It did not apply to women either. There were nearly 200 years of struggle before we had equality for all Americans. 56 delegates signed the Declaration. On July 4th, 1776, the delegates met in Independence Hall in Philadelphia to vote on the Declaration of Independence. They voted to accept it. The men knew that declaring independence from Britain was dangerous. If the colonists fought and didn't win, the British would punish them, maybe even hang them. They knew they all had to work together. Benjamin Franklin said, "We must all hang together, or most assuredly we will all hang separately." After the vote, they rang a large bell at Independence Hall called the Liberty Bell. The bell rang all day, and as the bell pealed out, people all over Philadelphia knew the Declaration had been approved. The Liberty Bell cracked in 1846 and cannot ring today. The print shops and newspapers in Philadelphia rushed to print copies for the colonists. Riders leapt on their horses and galloped away to deliver the news. It was 2 months before all 13 colonies learned the news. George Washington read a copy of the Declaration of Independence to the cheers of his soldiers. Meet some stars of the Revolution. Men and women of the Revolution. Thomas Jefferson owned a large plantation in Virginia. He was a lawyer with a love of learning. In fact, he founded the University of Virginia. Jefferson was the 3rd president of the United States. Benjamin Franklin had only 1 year of school, but he became a famous writer and scientist who spoke 3 languages. Franklin worked to get France's help in the war. Later, he helped write a truce with the British. John Adams was a lawyer from New England. He believed in justice. Even though he was a patriot, he defended British soldiers accused of killing people during the Boston Massacre. He was our 2nd president. Abigail Adams ran the family farm alone when her husband John was away. She told John Adams to remember the ladies when making new laws for the nation. And Thomas Paine inspired the Patriots by writing a popular pamphlet called Common Sense. In it, he urged the colonists to break away from Britain. George Washington thought he was leaving home for 1 year to fight the British. The war lasted 8 years. Afterward, he became the first president of the United States. Our capital, Washington, D.C., it's named after him. John Hancock was the first to sign the Declaration. He wrote his name in big letters. He did this so the king could read it without his glasses. Today, when people sign their names on a letter, they might even say they're putting their John Hancock on it. Phyllis Wheatley began life in America as a slave. Later, she was given her freedom. Phyllis became a poet. Important people, including Benjamin Franklin, admired her work. She sent a poem to George Washington praising him and the Revolution. Nathan Hale was a soldier for the Revolution. His job was to spy on the British. Nathan was caught and hanged. Before he died, though, he declared, "I regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." Patrick Henry gave stirring speeches urging revolution. In one famous speech, he said, "As for me, give me liberty or give me death." And Mary Catherine Goddard, she ran a newspaper in Baltimore, and in January of 1777, she published the Declaration of Independence. For the first time, all the signers were listed. Later, she became the first woman postmaster in America.